There is a picture of cognitive learning theory in action. That kind of says it all, but don't worry, I've got things to say about it. What is cognitive learning theory? Think of it as a hybrid, something kind of between behaviorism in its pure form and cognitive theory in its pure form. And now let me explain that. In cognitive learning theory, we are changing behavior. We are focused on behavior, but in this case, the learner, the student, is an active participant, not being acted on, but as an active observer of other people and their behaviors and doing something about their own behavior because of what they observe out there. Learning by observing the behavior of others and the consequences of their behaviors. You watch your peers, you watch some grown-ups, and not only do you see what they're doing and how they're doing it, but you also notice the after effects. Does the person become famous because of it? Or does the person get a reward because of it? Or does the person feel self-satisfaction because of it? If that's the message you're getting, you say, well, then I want to do more of that myself. Okay? That's cognitive learning theory. Okay, a scientist named Bandura comes up with the terminology vicarious learning. It's a combination of behavior, what's going on in the environment, and your feelings, your attitude about the behavior and the environment. For instance, there's watching the people around you, watching the grown-ups, watching people your own age or maybe slightly older than you, and watching them to be your models. I guess I could use the term role model, but let's just use the word modeling. These are your models, and the more you watch them, the more you learn, and the more you tend to change your behavior to be more like what you're observing. But there's also symbolic modeling. You watch movies, you watch movie stars, you watch TV, you watch advertisements. And again, these symbols on a screen, you watch not only what they do and how they do it, but you see the rewards of what they're doing. And you say, oh, I want to be more like that, so I'll start behaving more like that so I can get the rewards that that person got. And you know how it is then with celebrity worship, that is a two-edged sword. But the whole idea here is emulation, but not just blind emulation, because you don't really learn from that. You learn from really studying your model, really, really studying your model. The effects then. The effects of hero worship, the effects of studying your teacher, the effects of studying someone who fields baseballs better than you do. Whatever it is that you have been vicariously learning, why go to all that trouble? Because it leads to better self-regulation. The better I get at observing another person and learning from that person, the better I get at regulating my own learning. The more I pinpoint what I need to be doing to get the results that that person gets. It also affects self-motivation, self-reinforcement. You may not have to tell a person, oh, you should watch that person more, look at the results they get. Don't worry. If this person notices, if your student notices the results that this other person is getting, you probably can't take your student's eyes off that person. It is self-motivating, but it leads to, hopefully, a type of self-motivation when the model is not around. So when you have mastered or come close to mastering this imitation that you're doing, then you begin to incorporate a sense of, I can do this. I'm pretty good at reshaping my own behaviors to get results like that person got. And that is a big attitude change, because it helps me see, or it helps your student see, in the future, if I have a goal and I have a model for how to reach that goal, I know that I have the ability to really study and emulate and make it happen and get the kind of results that that person got. But it doesn't always work. Sometimes people make mistakes in what they are learning vicariously or in the way they're going about it. Sometimes you misperceive the model, or you misperceive the environment you're trying to accomplish all this in. And if you misperceive, you may not realize that, for instance, this celebrity that you look up to so much has a rotten side. Or you might not notice that in your environment, you really cannot accomplish the same things that your model does in his or her environment. You might be acting on incomplete information. Well, especially with celebrities, you don't see their real personal life. You don't see what they're like in normal life. You're acting on your perceptions of when you get to see them on a screen. So you may be acting on incomplete information and therefore emulating something that may not be genuine, or you're just not seeing the whole picture. Or maybe you, the student, are having trouble processing the fine details of what makes that person successful at that kind of behavior. Maybe you've got errors in the way you learn, or maybe there's even physiological or cognitive problems that prevent you from being able to pinpoint the factors. Maybe you can overcome that with some help. But be aware of the fact that, yes, it is possible that vicarious learning won't work even with the best intentions. And if that happens, if you have a student who's been studying a model and it isn't working out, you may end up with a student, shall we say, with hoop dreams, inaccurate expectations, inaccurate self-assessments, over-assessing, under-assessing their own abilities. And you may need to offer some guidance to help that student get back on a more realistic track. So, be more like me or somebody and review this video and answer the questions in the supplementary materials you can look through and everything, because definitely you want to be a success too. Get to it.